Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It webinars. As always, we try to do every time something new. And this year, we have started from last week to do zipinars, webinars zipped into one webinar, 1 hour-long webinar. And we are trying to bring in most of what we can in the limited time possible so that when you join our webinars, it's all productivity. And that is the way we want our community to become enhanced, informed, and we trying to make a difference get successful. So with that, we welcome all of you who have joined in on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also on Zoom. And we just want to inform about these webinars that we have. This particular professional webinar, we try to bring in technical topics, motivational, management, leadership, HR, immigration, everything which would help the community. And with that, this week's webinar, we have 3 speakers, full on SAP topics. So if you are somewhere related to SAP, if you know somebody who would be benefiting or it would be interesting, please ask them to join the session. They can ask our speakers any question they have. So we have this webinar will be every Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. EST. And we have also our youth webinars, which happens every week. The live webinar for older youth group happens on Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. EST. And for the younger group, we have alternate Fridays from 8:45 to 9:45 p.m. EST. And those do not come just like the youth do not come and present a webinar. They go through serious prep sessions, which happens every Tuesday and Thursday from 8:45 to 9:45 p.m. EST. And for all this information, if it seems overwhelming, please do email us at webinar@letustalkit.com and you will get all the information in details. So with that, without any further ado, we'll start today's first webinar, first session of the webinar. As you know, this is a zipinar, unzipping the bliss of knowledge in just less than or little more than 60 minutes. So our first topic would be how to start your SAP journey and grow your SAP skills. Learn and explore latest and trending topics on SAP. As I said, anybody interested in SAP, you would be benefiting from this webinar for sure. And to give this presentation, we have with us Vinita. And Vinita has a total experience of 12 plus years in SAP consulting, started with IBM for 8 years, and 5 years back started her own firm, Perito Solutions, which is in India, New Zealand, and Australia. She worked with clients across the globe on more than 20 plus SAP implementation, support, integration, and customization projects. She's also certified in SAP in SRM, HANA, Activate, and Ariba, TOGAF certified solution architect, and Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. And while I was talking to her, I loved her way of being very particular about what she does and how she wants, to be involved with the community. And with one go, she said yes to do this. And it is very early in New Zealand right now. And she said, not a problem. She was so happy and willing to join. So thank you, Vinita, so much. And we are absolutely honored to have you. Over to you.
All right. Thank you so much for that introduction and also for giving me this opportunity. I'll be sharing my screen so I can start. But before that, I just want to point out a couple of things. I just have 20 minutes. So this presentation is going to club a lot of things in. If you have questions, I will have like last 5 minutes or so, or 3 minutes maybe for questions. So I'm keeping a note of the timer, Julian, but just let me know if you think I'm going a bit overboard.
No problem at all. Please continue.
All right. So yeah, So this topic basically is something that I have, how I started my journey and how I think people should grow if they want to grow in SAP skills. So let's start on how you can grow and learn more of your SAP skills. So, yep, there's a brief agenda. I'll be talking about myself, how you could start the journey, what resources you can use to understand how to explore the SAP world, and how you can use SDN, what certifications you can go for, and then finally some questions if you guys have. Okay, so about me, I think that's already been covered by Julian, but I'll just quickly update. I have a good 12 plus years of experience. I started as a technical resource in IBM and then worked for 8 years in IBM, after which I became techno-functional in SRM, MM, Ariba, and cloud development. I have worked with clients across the globe with IBM as well as an independent contractor, and now working full-time for my own firm. I'm certified in these SAP certifications as well as other certifications like ITL, Lean Six Sigma, AWS, Google Cloud, as well as TOGAF certified architect. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can just search my name and you should be able to find me. Any questions, you can drop a mail to Let's Talk IT, or you can send an email to info@peritosolutions.com. So yeah, let's get started. I'll just minimize this window somehow. Okay, anyway. So yeah, so where and how you can start your SAP journey is basically a couple of things that you should know. How you decide which particular module in SAP, and there's a whole lot of information out there already, but I've tried to broken it down into a couple of different segments. So whether you want to pursue SAP technical or functional, that's one of the first questions that you should ask. You should understand what are the key differences between each of these technical and functional aspects. So technical basically means that you will be doing more of coding. You should know the tables and details of each of the specific module, or you should just generally know how to find that table information. You should know how to reuse the code, because most of the code you will either find on the net or you will know where to find it on SAP system. So, I mean, in my experience, there is very little of something innovative you are doing when you are coding, unless you are a very good coder. But if you know how to copy from where, and if you know where to apply what kind of ABAP logic, then that's where you can actually become a very good coder. And also, of course, you need to follow the best practices. Then in SAP development terms, there are RISEF objects, which are reports, interfaces, conversion, enhancements, and forms. So this is the basic expectations from a technical person, that they would know all these and they would know how to develop it. However, there are more things that you should know as a developer: workflow, classes, OOPS concept, which is object-oriented programming, and interfaces. So you don't have to be module specific when you go for a technical SAP role. It can be any module, because underlying ABAP is same for everything. However, you can choose to be you can choose to be just the MM or an FI developer, and there are specific openings in the market for those people who are interested in pursuing a specific module related technical development. But the beauty of it is that if you are technical, there are much more opportunities that you can pursue in terms of what module you want to work with. So ideally, it doesn't matter to the client, or even in terms of your own skills, it wouldn't matter, because there will always be a functional person tagged to you. Now, if you pursue functional, you have to be process oriented. So let's say, take an example of material management. Material management starts with ordering a purchase order, and then you finally send that purchase order for approval. It goes to your internal company people and then to the vendor. The vendor accepts it and then sends the goods. So you get a goods receipt, after which you confirm and an invoice is generated. So this is the flow for MM. For a customer related module, CRM or maybe Hybris, the flow is different. It starts from the customer, a customer ordering something and you sending the customer's payment invoice. So every specific module will have its own process oriented steps, and that's what you need to focus on as a functional consultant. You should know that end to end. You should know industry best practices, and then there are SAP specific T codes for each of them. So for MM, for example, it's ME23N. For something else, some other module, it will be something, let's say for a work order related plant maintenance module, it will be IW33 for a work order. So every module will have its own T code information that you need to know. Similarly, you should know the process best practices, whether the GR should be done first, whether there should be invoicing done, how you will tally the GR and invoicing, will there be a match between those two, how will the system automatically take care, what kind of approval flow logic you need to put in for when the invoice comes in or when the internal PO gets for approval. So those things are something that's incorporated as part of each module, and there is no set rule. There are some guidelines that SAP has provided for best practices, but it can vary from client to client. So yeah, so that's majorly how your functional journey will work. Now, if you want to go and pursue an architect path, so this was basically being a coder or being a functional person or being techno-functional. But if it's an architect, you need to know the basics of everything, which can be technical, functional. It also should encompass basis and security. So I think a very good role in SAP as an architect will give you a lot of good experience. It will give you a lot of good work that you can do, and it will help you in end-to-end implementations. But in my opinion, you should start from the scratch being a technical and functional before you pursue an architect journey, because that gives you an edge, because you already know how the system works, even if it's just for one module. But yeah, but it gives a lot of edge. Then in terms of products, you need to also define what specific product or maybe a couple of products that you want to support SAP in. So let's say it is SAP by design, which is for mostly smaller businesses, as well as SAP B1. So these are smaller businesses which do not have like a lot of transactions or maybe a lot of modules that they need to implement. So SAP by design and B1 have all these modules that I talked about. I hope I'm able to convey and my voice is clear.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So these are the products majorly in the market that in terms of the business suite that SAP offers. Then comes SAP R3 and the latest one is SAP S4. Now, some clients are very specific. They want people in SAP R3 EHP 7 or SAP R3 EHP 6. You don't really have to be as a consultant, very specific, but again, it's very good to know what is the transition from one module to another or one version of SAP to another. And that might be a good interview question sometimes as well. But mostly the things underlying SAP remains the same, even if they have a major upgrade in S4 or major upgrade in R3. So the focus should be on learning the basics and not really being very fussed about, what particular product. So let's say I'm able to support B1 by design R3 and S4 for MM, SRM, and WM. So my expertise area is procure to pay. Now, mostly I work on R3 and S4, but even for by design and B1, I work as a functional consultant as well as an integration consultant to help support clients. So these are now the modules. Now, once you have understood what needs to be done, you have to build your base on one or more modules. As a technical, as I mentioned, you have an option to work on any of these. But as a good consultant, it's always better to have functional knowledge of at least one of these. So you know from start to end how a system works. And then when you decide to pursue a different module, it's going to be easier for you, or you can just expand your journey. So let's say, for example, I pick up MM, SRM, and WM, which is what my expertise is. Now, when the invoice gets generated, there is an overlap with FI. So I need to talk to a FI consultant to see if I'm not able to sort the issue out. So there is that overlap basically determines how I can learn more of FI and how I can learn more of the integration part of it. Now, who all can raise the purchase order? It will be people in your organization. And that's why there is an integration with HR org structure. So if you go deep inside, you'll understand that these modules are all related. You don't have to be an expert in each of them, like I'm not, but you need to know how each of them integrate with each other, and mostly the basic key codes that can help you navigate an SAP easily. So that makes you a that gives you a bit of an edge in terms of other people who would just throw the ticket onto the FI side or maybe just to the HR side. But if possible, you should take some initiative to sit down with the right consultants and help you understand and leverage your knowledge there. Okay, so next stages in learning SAP is now the cloud. So each of these modules, which have been core modules in SAP, have now a cloud variant to it. So for example, for MM, SRM, and contracting, you have Ariba. So Ariba is the module that SAP has been pushing very rigorously on the cloud, and it's almost like a replacement for SRM and MM. But most of the clients don't want to get rid of MM and SRM, which is their on-premise stable modules. So what they have done is they have implemented Ariba, and from cloud to on-premise, data still flows from one system to another. Similarly, for FI in the newer S4 version, there is simplified finance. So again, it's the similar concept, but they have changed some tables, they've changed underlying logic. So this is a newer version, but most of the clients that I've seen continue to use the S4 core module of FI. And for HR, it's Success Factor, or maybe it could be Employee Central. And for CRM, it is C4C and Hybris. So Hybris is like your Amazon kind of an experience where the users can go and shop. And then once they've done that, it comes back to the on-premise CRM version for further processing. So yeah, in terms of the newest technology in technical, I think you should understand how HANA development works. For interfacing, you should understand how the PIPO works, which is basically the interface layer between one or more modules, as well as MuleSoft. And then in terms of ABAP, you will have OData, Fiori, and all those new technologies that you should understand, because there are Fiori apps for each of these modules and how it interacts with the backend. That's where the OData and API services come into picture. So if you want to transition up from being the basic technical to the latest in SAP in terms of technical knowledge, this is where you need to go. This is where you need to explore more. Then again, there are reporting and BI, and there are basis tasks that you can do in terms of transportation, Solomon, and landscape management. So earlier, everything was on-premise, but when you have to move on to the cloud, like right now we have on-premise system, but if it's a web URL, then the basis team comes into picture who will move it to, let's say, Azure or maybe AWS. And that's how you can explore more by being a basis consultant who understands migration and those aspects of it. So this is a nutshell on how you can do and what you can inspire to learn in SAP, and basically from starting from the basics to your niche skills to develop them and grow together with SAP in that. Now I'll come to the next one. Now resources to help you get started. So first is the my go-to link is the go support sap.com. You need to create a SID, and there are tons of courses, tutorials, and trials on SAP tutorial website. I will try to just quickly show you as well. And I have included some of these links that you can review, and these will take you directly to the actual topic on how you can explore and implement those tutorials as a on a live or a trial system and get started. So there is a very good step-by-step information that's provided for these. I'll just quickly, after I finish my slides, show you guys on how this can be done. Then there is SAP Learning Hub. So SAP Learning Hub has got like a lot of content that you can consume on why and how these tutorials work. So only when you do like a combination of reading and doing things, you will be able to register it in a much more better way. So this is a paid subscription, and you can find the price. It's around, I think I've included somewhere. You can just check on this link and you'll find the price. It is a bit pricey, but you can ask if you have a customer or if you have like a client or you work for someone, they should be able to reimburse, because this is a lot of value addition in terms of what SAP offers on this. Then, yeah, these are the top technical tutorials that you can go through, which are developing a Fiori Launchpad app, getting started with the SAP Cloud Platform, developing the first SAP UI web app, and building a SAP Fiori app that consumes data. So you can find all these on developer.sap.com/tutorial navigator. And you can also explore some more like API mobile and cloud platform. Then there is Open SAP courses. These Open SAP courses are the ones which are upcoming. So these are some of the ones that you can just log in there and see. The important ones being how you can digitally transform and bot building. So again, this is a very niche skill, robotic process automation. And that is where you can integrate chatbots in SAP and make it more intelligent for customer service or maybe for internal knowledge-based management. So, and the other ones that I've included here, these are some past courses. which is again built on chatbots, which is what SAP has been pushing through very rigorously, as well as developing innovations in SAP for S/4HANA. Then there is some building RESTful applications. So even if you're not technical, these are majorly related to functional as well as integration consultants. So it's always good to know if you have time to do everything, but at least cover whatever your area of interest is, and those topics should be available on OpenSAP, and you should try to cover a depth of one specific segment that is of your interest. And also S4 conversion, like from R3 to S4, how do you convert the system? What are the steps? And this has been repeated a couple of times. So I think SAP, this is one of the hot topics that you should dive into. Okay, yeah. So here are the SAP Live Access. These are the prices from SAP. So you have got some demo systems that you can use when you prepare for your certification or when you go and see content on Learning Hub. So you have SAP Live Access for 20 hours and 60 hours. This means that you can log into the system, and only when you are actively working, you will pay. So let's say I work for 4 hours today, I can pause it and I can exit, and it will only charge me 4 hours. So you can decide how long you want to use those 20 hours. It's a 1-year validity, and same for 60 hours. So you can see what all systems are available on these links, and you can refer course material and do hands-on for those systems. Okay, so the last topic I think will be how you can improve further by communicating with SAP SDN team members or community people. So this is a screenshot from my profile. I am a very active member on SDN. I contribute in terms of blogs as well as answering questions. And these are some of my badges that I've earned. Even if you do SAP Open SAP courses, it shows up here. And they have a weekly badge roundup in which they mention your name. So, I mean, and they also give you karma credits or stuff like that. It's basically gamification that they do. And I find it very interesting. As a to-do list, I always try to ensure that I have at least 10 to 15 answers per week that I post, and a couple of blogs. So it's a way of you to learn, share the knowledge, and also get recognition. So important if you want to grow further or enhance your skills, contribute, as well as try to see what questions are being asked. Okay, so these are also one of the certification links that I wanted to share. So this is a certification CER006 product that you can buy from SAP. It has got around 100 certifications or so, and you can have it in one price of 43K, which allows you to have 6 certifications. And per certification, you can appear 3 times. If you keep failing first and second time, the last attempt, third time will be your final attempt. So SAP would not allow you after 3 attempts to appear for the same exam again. They discard you as being not fit for qualifying for that exam. It has got 12 months validity. And again, this combined with Learning Hub content as well as live access can give you a good hands-on as well as practical knowledge. But again, you still have to have some projects down your belt in terms of what you have learned, because just reading and appearing for the certification would not give you the knowledge that you need in real world. So I think I've covered most of this stuff, and I am out of time actually. So let me know if you guys have specific questions or there's something that you want me to focus on, and yeah, I'll be happy to answer. But that's pretty much it from my side. I will just quickly show you. These are the Open SAP courses, and these are the tutorials. You can navigate to the tutorials. And this one, I've just selected something randomly, and it has got all the steps on how you can create your instance, a very detailed oriented step-by-step approach. And you just keep marking it as done, done, done. And yep, that's basically how it works. And there are heaps of tutorials that you can explore on Tutorial Navigator. So yep, you can also just select in terms of what specific technology, connectivity, development, extensibility you need. And there are missions which have got a bunch of tutorials, or some tutorials themselves. So if I go inside, let's say there are 10 tutorials inside this, and each of them will have step-by-step information. So not very long as well, 35 minutes. And again, all of this gets added to your dashboard. So this is my dashboard. So whatever courses I complete and all, it get added up. So just a way for you to get motivated, keep your own goals, just compete with yourself and see how you can grow from there. That's it from my side. If you have questions, please let me know. Julian, you can take over now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vinita. It was like hearing your session. It was like, a very close friend or a sister or somebody who wants to deliver as much as possible information, being precise and something that will help you next. So really appreciate your
Thank
as
you.
keeping to the time and trying to deliver as much information as possible. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I would ask Srini if you have any comments because he is, his forte is SAP. So he would be knowing how much you have helped the community.
Yeah,
Srini.
Vinita, that was really such a great, crisp presentation.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, definitely we will, get in touch with you further if there are any inquiries. And also if
Yeah.
there are any questions, I think they can post in the chat so that, Julian can consolidate and, convey to you.
Sure.
So, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, got one comment from Kishore. It was an excellent cheat sheet. We all know this information in bits and pieces. Great to see that all sorted into one sheet. Yes, that is very true.
Thank you so much, Kishore.
Yeah, we'll just give 1 minute. Any quick question or any feedback, queries, or comments? Anybody can just unmute and talk. And what's the time, Vinita, there in New Zealand?
It's 6:30.
6:30, right? There was a confusion. So thank you so much for waking up early, and I'm sure that you have to go for work also. But thank you for joining in. We'll keep in touch, and
Sure.
yes, absolute pleasure to have you.
Thanks a lot. I'll stay. I want to hear the other speakers as well. So I'm
Absolutely,
looking to.
more than welcome. Yeah. And the other speaker also heard you because he was there. I saw him there.